How is it going, everyone, and Merry Christmas Eve and Happy Holidays to those who celebrate it. Of course, this video, as you guys can tell, I'll be doing a DVD review of the WWE Royal Rumble 2019. Of course, I was at this show back in January in Phoenix. I do have a live review as well as a live experience of the entire week while I was there in Phoenix for the Royal Rumble weekend on my channel. So links to those videos will be at the end of this video. But without wasting any more time, let's go jump right into the video, and yeah, let's dive right into it. Of course, here is the DVD itself with a pretty nice cover. Of course, you have Brock Lesnar with the red background for Raw, and of course you have Becky Lynch with the blue background for SmackDown, because obviously at the time they were on Raw and SmackDown. They're both on Raw now, but at the time obviously they're different brands, which is kind of funny to put both of them on the cover because it kind of looks like they're having a match with each other. But I guess I don't know, you have to have the Beast and the Man on it, I guess. There is the logo right there, of course, with the WWE Royal Rumble. On the bottom, you have a bunch of just different pictures of different competitors. You know, you got Sasha Banks, Bayley, Rusev, Charlotte, Natalya, Dean Ambrose. I just have a bunch of plethora of different superstars and just kind of, you know, give that Royal Rumble feel to it. Of course, 2019 DVD, WWE home video, 2-disc set. So that is a front cover. I do like it. You know, it's pretty much the same as the regular poster, but I just switched the two on top. But I do like it. And of course, here is the side on the spine, what looks like on your shelf. You do have a picture of Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles on the top. Of course, Royal Rumble going down. They have a picture of Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks on the back. So that is what it looks like on your shelf when you put it in there. And of course, you open it up. It is a 2-disc set, as you guys saw on the front. Here's a trading card it came with. It's Rey Mysterio. And of course, here's this one. Nothing to it. And then this too. Nothing to it. Just red and blue discs. Very lazy, you know. Expected from Warner Brothers with WWE. And then of course to go to the back, which is a complete opposite look from the front. The front's very dark, and then you go to the back, which is very light and colorful, which I do like. I think it's a nice little touch, makes it look different. So I do like the back. Of course, you have, as always, you have your different pictures of the event itself, as well as a little description you get. So of course, you got Daniel Bryan, you got Kairi Sane, you got Seth Rollins, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Miz and Shane McMahon, and Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor. Of course, here's the middle, which it states 2 men, 30 women, 2 star-studded Royal Rumble matches. Which superstars will write their names in WWE history books at the first stop on the road to WrestleMania? For the first time ever, Ronda Rousey faces one of the biggest tests of her career when she defends her title against the boss Sasha Banks. In a David versus Goliath type matchup, Finn Balor stands toe-to-toe against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Asuka hopes to stop the momentum of the Man Becky Lynch in their one-on-one encounter, and the phenomenal AJ Styles hopes to regain the WWE Championship against the new Daniel Bryan, plus more. So yeah, that is the back of the DVD. Like I said, I do like it. Kind of stands out. It's different from the front. So going into the overall Royal Rumble event itself, I thought it was a really good show. Not being biased because I was there watching it back, I thought it was a very easy show to sit through. It was, you know, almost 5 hours. I think the total runtime was like 4 hours and 42 minutes. And honestly, that time period flew right by. You know, the show wasn't hard to sit through. The matches were easy. It was just a fun time, and it got me in the mood. You know, the atmosphere of the whole feel to it as well. Like, you know, with them coming out the dugout, just a different look for the stage and everything. Just everything about this show. You know, I liked it. I liked the feel to it. I liked the energy. I liked the flow of the show itself. You know, nothing really stands out. Nothing's outstanding. You don't have that one match that I would say go back and you need to see this match. But it does have its moments. Obviously, you have, you know, like the 2 Royal Rumble winners with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. And he had some pretty good matches as well on the show. So, Royal Rumble 2019 definitely was a really good show. Not a spectacular one. I wouldn't say as good as 2018's. But it was definitely still a very good show overall to sit through. Of course, the first match you had to start the show itself was the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka defending against Becky Lynch. That was definitely a great way to start the show. And honestly, I would say that was probably the best match on the main card. I don't know, I felt like it was definitely a great way to start the show. The crowd was red hot. During the introductions for these two, you can definitely tell it had a big fight feel to it. And, you know, it was a great match, you know, but it was different too. It was one of those matches that I feel we don't get very often, where it's a slower paced, you know, they're kind of taking their time. But everything they did got a reaction. Every time Becky tried to do something or Asuka tried to do something, the crowd reacted to it. And you don't get that very often in wrestling nowadays, with the crowds reacting to everything. And the crowd was very hot for this match, and it was great. You know, there was some weird stuff in it. Like, there was a bump where Asuka looked like she's gonna give a neck breaker off the Becky Lynch off the apron to the outside, but it looked like midway through the jump she changed her mind and went for a DDT instead. So that came out very awkwardly. Becky hit a Beck Sweater suplex on Asuka. So they were just laying the shit on each other, and there's a nice chain reversal towards the end. You know, Becky would use the post to lock in this armor. Asuka would try to lock in the Asuka lock, and great chain reversal, just great wrestling. You know, the crowd was really into it the last few minutes, which was spectacular, and somehow Asuka was able to lock in the Asuka lock. Becky Lynch tapped out, and Asuka remained the SmackDown Women's Champion. Like I said, great match to open the show, and honestly, probably the best match on the show. From there, I'm going to go to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, The Bar versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. This was a fine match. You know, right from the get-go, Shane attacked Sheamus, and we're throwing some jabs. Miz tagged in, and then of course The Bar kind of just worked over Miz for the majority of it. Tried to put Miz through a table, but Shane saved him. Shane tried to do an elbow drop through a table, but you know, Sheamus saved Cesaro and ended up doing an elbow drop to the outside onto Sheamus, I believe. Anyways, not through a table, but on the outside. So Shane took a bump, and then you know, kind of came to a chaotic end. Miz, you know, The Bar's team on Shane, and then you know, Miz came out of nowhere to help Shane. And hit the Skull Crusher finale onto Sheamus, which allowed Shane to hit a shooting star press. Yes, a shooting star press on Cesaro for the win. Shane McMahon hit a shooting star press in 2019 and won a match. But not just won a match, won a championship. Of course, Shane and Miz and win the SmackDown Tag Team titles after that. Like I said, it was a fine match. It wasn't bad or anything, but definitely didn't stand out and wasn't that, you know, wasn't that memorable. So, yeah, Shane and Miz won the SmackDown Tag Team titles. You know, alright match. And then we go to the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey defending against Sasha Banks. This was another great match here. I think the women, more so in the title matches, really knocked out of the park on this show. They definitely came to play and you know, showed up everyone, I believe, at the Royal Rumble. But Sasha and Ronda had a great match. You know, it was honestly, the match was just a bunch of spams of reversals and counters. That's really what it was. But they made it work. It made it look smooth and slick, and you know, the crowd was into it. You know, it was kind of a faster pace. That's pretty honestly what it was. It was pretty much Becky versus Asuka, but a faster pace of it. Honestly, is what I felt like it was. You know, the crowd was reacting to everything because there was a lot of reversals and counters, like I said. But, you know, it was still really good. I thought they had great chemistry. It was kind of funny, though. There was one spot where Sasha kind of fucked it up. And then Ronda was like, oh, no, I can't wrestle. Not to Sasha, but to the crowd, which I thought was pretty funny. But, yeah, it was great stuff. And then out of nowhere, you know, they were just reversing back and forth. And then Ronda hit the Piper's Pit out of nowhere and pinned Sasha Banks, which was the first time I believe she used it as a finisher. So I think that's why a lot of people were surprised that was a finish. No one was expecting, you know, the Piper's Pit to finish off Sasha Banks, but it did, and ended her great match with Ronda Rousey. Like I said, great stuff, great reversals. Like when Ronda would go for Piper's Pit, somehow Sasha Banks would counter into the bank statement. Just like, you know, stuff like that. It was pretty much the basis of the match, but like I said, they made it work, and I thought it was a great match overall. And then we go into the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match. Okay, so being there live, I thought this match was very fun. And honestly, watching us back, this match was not very good at all. It was very sloppy. You can just tell, you know, no offense to the women, but they just, at times, I think because they did get a lot of women in there at one time, I just think it was the cases they didn't know what to do. And that's what it came off as a lot of times, because like I said, a lot of it was sloppy. Some people are hitting spots when, you know, like someone was coming out so the camera didn't even catch it. Honestly, it was the sloppy clusterfuck I completely expected the first Women's Royal Rumble to be. And I don't know, like, this match wasn't terrible. Like, it's a watchable Rumble still. Like, it's not one of the worst Rumbles of all time, but you can definitely tell that, you know, there's still work to be done. I know it was only the second Women's Royal Rumble, but they still got some improvements to do. And definitely, you know, fell hard from the first one in terms of, you know, how good it was. The first one I thought was really good. I thought the first one was actually great. And then this Royal Rumble just wasn't very good at all, in my opinion. And like I said, it was very sloppy. And there really wasn't many surprises. You know, there were some NXT talent like Candice LeRae and Rhea Ripley. But besides that, no one surprising came out at all. Of course, you know, Lana came out 28, but Becky Lynch came and took her spot because Lana was injured from the kickoff show, which I'll get to that match later on because those were DVD extras, obviously. I'll get to that match later on. But Lana was selling her hurt ankle, couldn't compete, so Becky Lynch ended up taking her spot. And of course, final three came down to Becky, Nia, and Charlotte. Nia gets eliminated, then Nia gets mad, takes it on Becky, and then pushes Becky off the steps. But the thing is, Becky lands on her left leg on the outside, and then she clenches immediately her right leg. And then they go to replay to show it. They come back, she's clenching her left leg. So Good job, Becky. Not trying to nitpick everything, but I'm just saying, come on. It's very noticeable. But yeah, it came down to Becky and Charlotte. Becky came in the ring. She saw on her left leg. Charlotte attacked the left leg. Becky was able to outsmart Charlotte, end up knocking her down. Charlotte falls down the slowest, shittiest way possible and rolls off the apron, and Becky Lynch wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Besides Becky winning it the last few minutes, like, honestly, the final moments of this match were a lot of fun because the crowd was really into it as soon as Becky got in the match. So yeah, as soon as Becky won the match was a lot of fun. I'd say that. Still sloppy, but still fun. But yeah, Becky getting her moment was awesome, but besides that, very mediocre Women's Royal Rumble match. Didn't enjoy it at all, even though, like I said, live, maybe because it was my first Rumble match seeing live, so I was kind of hyped for that reason alone. And I didn't really notice all the botches and whatnot. Obviously on TV you see a lot more than you do live unless you're up close. But I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it, but I still thought it was fine for what it was. From there on, go to the WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles. Man, these two went from having an incredible match the month before at TLC to having a boring, mediocre match here. Now, technically the match was fine. Like, the technical wrestling portion of it was fine, but they just were not doing anything. The crowd didn't care. It wasn't because the crowd was tired from the Women's Royal Rumble match, trust me. Until Becky came out, you heard crickets throughout that match, besides a few pops. But yeah, Bryan and AJ just went out there and just, I don't know, man. Like, I watched that match, I had my eyes glued to the match. I didn't look at my phone when I was rewatching this, and honestly, I couldn't really remember much of what I saw because nothing happened. Bryan stomped an AJ in. They went to the outside for a little bit. But besides that, nothing of noteworthy happened in it. It was just, I don't know, it seemed like they were just going through the motions and just did not really care. And it was just very disappointing to see these two go out there and have such a mediocre match. Like I said, didn't really enjoy it at all, honestly. But yeah, you know, ending came, referee took a bump. Styles had a Styles clash on Daniel Bryan. Before that, Eric Rowan came out to most confusion of everyone. When the referee gets taken out and Styles and Styles clash, Rowan goes in there, hits the Iron Claw on AJ, rolls back out. Bryan covers AJ, and then of course the referee counts the 1, 2, 3 for Bryan, so Bryan retains the WWE Championship via help from Eric Rowan. Like I said, just a very disappointing match, very underwhelming. Like I said, technically it's good, but just, I don't know, it's not a match I recommend you go out of your way to see, so very disappointed by that. But then we go to a way better title match, being the Universal Championship match. Brock Lesnar defending against Finn Balor. And these two went out there and had a fantastic 7 to 8 minute match. Right from the get-go, Finn Balor's a drop kick, you know, trying to knock Lesnar down to his knees. Lesnar just starts plowing on Balor. Balor starts laying his shit back in. The match goes to the outside after Brock gets a few suplexes. Finn Balor throws Brock into the corner of the announce table, you know, and they reference his diverticulitis once he hit his stomach into the corner, which I really like that small detail they threw in there. So I thought that was a great thing for them to mention that. So Balor's throwing him into the corner of the table. Lesnar gets pissed and starts wailing on Balor some more. Back in the ring, Balor has a comeback, hits a sling blade, dropkick in the corner, hits the Cody Grab, but he goes for the pin. Lesnar counters it into the Kimura lock, and then of course, you know, after a good little while, Finn Balor taps out and Brock Lesnar retains the Universal Championship. This was a definition of a sprint. Just 7 of 8 minutes is pure non-stop action. Lesnar and Balor beating the shit out of each other. Balor was laying his shit in just as much as Lesnar was, which I thought was great. And it was a, like I said, excellent 7 to 8 minute match. Really enjoyed it. Wish we got more time. Honestly, I wish this match would have gotten the time Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles got. That would have been a classic. But, you know, they only got a few minutes, unfortunately, but they made it work. Afterwards, Lesnar just beat the shit out of Balor some more, hit some Germans, hit an F5 for no reason, and that was that. So, yeah, Lesnar Balor, I would say probably the second best match in the show. Like I said, fantastic stuff for the time they got. And then, of course, go to the main event, which was the Men's Royal Rumble match. Honestly, it was fine, too. It was a good Rumble. It was nothing spectacular, but it was a good Rumble match, easy to sit through. You know, they didn't have the problems that the women's Rumble match had, which, you know, listen, I know, to be fair, a lot of the men have, you know, have done Rumble matches for years. This is, you know, this year was only the second ever Women's Royal Rumble, so obviously the competitors don't have the practice of, you know, doing a Rumble match. So I give them slack for that. But the men's match, yeah, was just more, you know, way easier to sit through, and, you know, just, it was better constructed. Of course, you know, at the beginning, you know, Elias was number 1 and Jeff Jarrett was number 2. They had a little thing, and then, you know, Elias joined Jeff Jarrett. And then you didn't have really any other surprises besides that. You know, you had Kurt Angle come out number 4. And you had some NXT talent like Pete Dunne and Aleister Black. Giant Gargano were in this match as well. And besides that, that's pretty much all the surprises. You know, no one else really was a surprise entrance, no legends, no returns, anything besides some NXT talent and Jeff Jarrett. So, yeah, very underwhelming talent-wise. And, you know, of course, number 30 is supposed to be R-Truth, but then Nia Jax came out and took him out and took his spot instead, which was ridiculous that Nia Jax is number 30, but what can you do? She had her moment. You know, she got 619, RKO'd and super kick, so that was nice to see her take those bumps. But yeah, you know, Orton got eliminated by Andrade. Mustafa Ali got eliminated by Nia Jax, by the way, just throw that out there. And yeah, the final three came down to, actually they tried to play off like Andrade and Ziggler were the final two, because Rollins got taken out by Bobby Lashley when he came out, and Strowman was taken out, forgot how. So they tried to play it off like Andrade and Ziggler were the final two, which got absolute crickets. And no one gave a fuck until Strowman got in there and cleared house. And then Rollins got back in the ring. And then came to the Rollins and Strowman, of course, they kind of did the Big Show Rock finish where, you know, Rollins got to teeter Strowman over the ropes. And then eventually they're both on the apron. Rollins hits a stomp. And Strowman falls out, and Seth Rollins is your 2019 Royal Rumble winner. Great moment for him. You know, I'm pretty sure everyone expected Rollins to win it, like myself. And yeah, it was cool to see him and Becky both win the Royal Rumble matches. Of course, they both went on to win the championships at WrestleMania that year. And yeah, like I said, overall, it was a good Rumble match. You know, it was solid. Just wasn't as good as last year's. 2018 Rumble match is still one of my favorites of all time. That was a spectacular Rumble match. And this year's kind of just, it's just a regular match kind of thing. It didn't seem like it was a big deal. And, you know, I don't know, it didn't have that big feeling to it. But it was a fine Rumble match overall. But that was overall the main show. I'll go into the kickoff matches real quick. The first one was Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus Razor and Scott Dawson. And, of course, stipulation were that if Dawson and Razor won, that the Revival and AOP got tag title shots for the Raw Tag Team titles. So that was what they're playing it as. The match sucked. Gable and Roode got the win, so that was that. The United States Championship was defended. Rusev defending against Shinsuke Nakamura, which was a good match. The finish came where Lana was on the apron. Rusev knocked her down. Nakamura got out of the way, and Lana, you know, twisted her ankle, which led into the, you know, her being out of the Rumble match. So that was great. They actually made something in the kickoff show mean something rather than a title change. So I really like that small little detail that they implemented into the Women's Royal Rumble match. I thought that was great stuff. But yeah, Rusev, as he's trying to, like, you know, check on Lana, Nakamura taking Sasha out of nowhere. On the ropes, 1, 2, 3, Nakamura becomes the brand new United States Champion. And of course, the final match on the kickoff show was a Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy defending against Akira Tozawa, Kalisto, and Hideo Itami. Honestly, this might have been the best match on the entire show if you include the kickoff show matches, because this was a non-stop 15-minute sprint with a bunch of crazy bumps. You know, everyone was, you know, feeding off of each other. There's a nice spot where Buddy Murphy went the power bomb. I believe Akira Tozawa on the outside, while Hideo Itami had the ropes open because he's trying to suplex Akira Tozawa, but then Buddy Murphy stole him into a power bomb. But then Kalisto went through the ropes and like hit a clothesline. But then Akira Tozawa turned it into a actually, it might have been reversed. It might have been Kalisto that was getting power bombed, and Akira Tozawa did the dive. I apologize. Tozawa does a dive, you know, hits Buddy Murphy. Hits Kalisto into her Hurricane into Buddy Murphy. So it was like just a bunch of chains of different stuff. They're all involving each other. It was awesome. Great stuff. Buddy Murphy came off greatly. Killed Kalisto with a fucking running knee, by the way, when Kalisto tried to jump off the top rope. He annihilated him with that running knee. But ending came with Murphy and Itami. They had a pretty nice exchange, but then Murphy got the better of it. Ended up hitting Murphy's Law. 1, 2, 3, retained the Cruiserweight Championship. So kickoff show matches weren't anything special. The tag match was pointless, but the US title was good. And the Cruiserweight title match, like I said, if you include that, honestly, might have been the best match on the entire show. But overall, yeah, that was my review for the WWE Royal Rumble 2019. Overall, like I said, I thought it was a really good show, very enjoyable, easy to sit through. You know, nothing really must see, but it had its moments. You know, like I said, obviously Rollins, Becky winning the Royal Rumble were great moments, especially Becky winning it. You know, I know a lot of people, including myself, were pushing for that, and we were very excited when she did win it. So that was great. Brock and Finn Balor was a very exciting match. So you had some good stuff on the Rumble, but nothing really must see about it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. Of course, this will be my final DVD review of the year, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So until next time, I'll see you guys later, and happy holidays, everyone.